welcome to another edition of Wrestling Sit and Talk. This will be a hot takes podcast episode. We're gonna make some bold predictions for the future. We're gonna talk about the booking of some certain things in both WWE and AEW. I am Suji, and I am here with John. John, hello.
Hello, what's going on?
Not shit. It's hot. Victor, hello. You look like you're just about to get ready to hit the beach or the
How you
club.
doing? I know, right? Right after this.
All right. Well, this is going to be a hot takes episode, so we're gonna make some interesting hot takes, or maybe not so hot takes. I'll go first. I do not like the booking of the Women's Evolution pay per view. I think they slapped it together just to have the pay per view, and they put it, if I'm not mistaken, on a Sunday. Is it or is it Saturday?
No,
Pretty sure
it's
it's Sunday.
Evolution's the Sunday.
It's Sunday. So then you put Evolution against AEW's one of their biggest pay per views of the year. I just think that's a complete recipe to fail. Um, yeah, I don't like the women's booking, and I don't think Rhea should be having a world title match. What about you, John? What are your opinions?
So I agree with what you're saying. Next weekend is just so overbooked, it's not even funny. Because next Saturday you have All In and NXT going head to head on the Saturday. And then you have Saturday night's main event on the Saturday night. Then you have Evolution on the Sunday. So you've got people that are expected to pay to go to three different pay-per-views or whatever in Atlanta within 24 hours. And they're wondering why they're not selling tickets for Evolution. There's one of your reasons right there. The fact that they have three events in 24 hours. And the
Not
other one? Yep, go ahead.
not to cut you, but also the MLB All Stars is in Atlanta as well.
And
So,
Beyonce is performing the same night as Evolution 2 across the
oh
street.
my god, oh my god, recipe to fail.
Uh-huh.
Victor, what about you? What are your observations?
I think that Evolution has been poorly booked because of the amount of time in between pay-per-views they have. We had Night of Champions, what, literally last weekend, and we're expected to believe that all the matches that are happening at Evolution were booked this week are important and they should be watched. No. If you plan everything last minute and throw stuff together and try to make it look gold, it's not going to shine as bright as it would have been if it was more thought out and planned out.
Yeah, I just feel like there was just like, well, Liv's hurt. We don't know really else what else to do, so we're just gonna throw a bunch of women on the card and pat ourselves on the back. What's a hot take you got, Victor?
Yep.
Let's see. Hot take that might start some fires. Let's see. Dominic Mysterio is the greatest Mysterio of all time. 10 times better than his step pops. Not his step pops, his pops, Rey Mysterio. 10 times better. That's a hot
I
take for me.
that's a fact, sir. That all I heard was facts. John, do you agree or disagree? And what's your hot take?
Yeah, I think character-wise, Dominic is 100% better than his father character-wise. In-ring ability, Dominic is getting better, but on the mic, he's 100% better than his father ever was.
Sounds like a clean sweep to me. Sounds like a clean sweep to me. John, what's the hot take you got?
So, a hot take for me is an AEW booking.
Okay.
And the hot take right now is the Hangman Adam Page and Moxley booking, the match. I don't think that Hangman should have been the person in this match. I feel like AEW dropped the ball with both of their Owen Hart Cup winners. I felt like Hayter should have beaten Monet to win the female Owens Cup, and I feel like Ospreay should have beaten Hangman to win the male Owen. Because the thing is, you want Moxley to drop the title. Everybody wants Moxley to drop the title, and the fact is that Ospreay is the person that AEW needs holding that title. They don't need somebody like Moxley. Even Darby. Darby would be great with that title, but Ospreay is the person that should be holding that title for AEW going forward.
Victor, as a AEW watcher, do you agree?
I agree that Will Ospreay will make a great champion, but at the same time, uh, he has time still on his AEW contract. It's not like he's old or Adam Copeland old, where he's never gonna get a shot at that title. He's still young. He's still got a lot of time on his contract in AEW, and it's only a matter of time for Will Ospreay to get that title.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I've heard some people complain about how Moxley is booked, but then they also say his segments are the highest rated segments. So it's such a flip floppy thing. Um, Another hot take. I don't think Triple H knows how to book women's wrestlers. Um, I think when it comes to certain things, he's really good at booking main event. Some main event guys. The bloodline stuff. Like he can book all that stuff really well. But when it comes to like women's wrestlers, it's like here's a match. Okay, we'll figure something else out. Like we should be seeing more of people like Kyrie Sane, Dakota Kai, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Zelina Vega. Like we need to be seeing more of these women showcased and mixed up instead of like, oh, Liv Morgan's down. What do we do? There should be already somebody there that would make sense instead of just like, oh, break glass. We're gonna call Rhea Ripley. Like, why wasn't somebody like a Stephanie being built up better in this time frame in case Triple H always got a plan B. Well, your plan B, if it's Rhea Ripley, yeah, mommy's over, but let's give me something else. What do y'all think about that?
I'll agree with you to a certain point. Now, is Triple H the best at booking women's wrestling? Absolutely not. No one's saying he is. And are there going to be some things that he's going to be good at booking over others, such as main event male superstars? Sure. Now, I would have to add he is doing a better job than Vince McMahon would be doing if he was still running. Because if Vince McMahon was still running it, you wouldn't see Julia as United States champion. You wouldn't see people like Chelsea Green or Selena Vega or people such as, I don't know who else that he underutilized, Lyra Valkyria getting opportunities like they're getting now.
Yeah, but see, the, to me the booking is still all over the place because if you look at SmackDown's tag division, for example, their tag division is great, and if you look at Raw, it's like
Yep.
Complete. It's so different. Remember when NXT had one of the hottest tag divisions? Look
Axiom.
at it now. Look at it now. What do you think, John?
Um, I think that Triple H does a good job in some aspects, but the female booking definitely he focuses on certain people. He focuses on Liv Morgan. He focuses on Rhea Ripley. He focuses on Charlotte Flair. Even Bianca Belair, I would say. The other people that who are earning these opportunities or should be earning these opportunities to be showcased aren't nearly being showcased as much because of like that big four horsewomen that I just mentioned.
That's fair. What's another hot take you got, John?
So here's another hot take for me. Jade Cargill should not be on the main roster. She should not be anywhere near the title picture. She should be in NXT, maybe even in developmental further below NXT because she can't have a match that lasts more than 3 minutes.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Uh, care to expand on that some?
Yep, sure. I mean, when you look at Jade Cargill matches, you look at when she was in AEW, you look at what she's done so far in WWE. Even you look at the Asuka match. Yes, the match was like 5 to 6 minutes, but Asuka carried most of that match. And if Jade is the one that's in charge of carrying the match, it lasts 3 minutes or so. If it's more than that, her opponent is carrying the match. I mean, she's okay on the mic, but she needs a lot of work. And even her in-ring skills, I think the Cena thing, it's the Cena thing, the 5 moves of doom.
Okay. Victor, what do you think?
I think that Jade Cargill is doing just fine on the main roster. I don't think she deserves to be in NXT or anything lower than NXT because she's a star. Anytime WWE is mentioned, you think of people like Jade Cargill, people like that that weren't utilized correctly in AEW that are now here in WWE trying to make a name for themselves away from AEW. And it might take a while for her to reach her max potential, but to say that she needs to go to NXT or be off TV, that would only hurt her character more than it would help her.
Uh, Now, I kind of agree with both of you. I don't think Jade should have gone. I don't think Jade is as bad as people try to make her seem to be. Like they make her seem like she's the worst wrestler in the world. She doesn't have to look. She doesn't know how to do anything. That's not true. Does she have things she needs to improve on? Absolutely, absolutely. I will not disagree with that at all. What I wish they would have done was actually put her on NXT for like a year or two and just let her go through being a face, being a heel, chasing the championship, being the champion, and then like 2 years, boom, she's ready to go main roster. I understand why they did it, but I also you also have to blame her previous training because if you look at a
Yep.
majority of Jade's matches in AEW, she wasn't really doing a lot. It was mostly squash matches, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah, she was the female
that's
version of
her in.
Goldberg.
So I don't think Jade is as bad as people try to make her out to be, but I do think she could improve. But it's like I take it like this, right? You go apply for a job, and it was like every job you go apply to, it's like, oh well, you don't have any experience, I can't hire you. How do you get experience if nobody gives you the chance to gain experience? Victor, hot take.
Let's see. Hot take. Uh, Here's one. Rey Mysterio isn't as good as everyone's portraying him to be. Everyone's portraying Rey Mysterio as this Mexican iconic culture figure that's been the face of wrestling, pro wrestling for years. And in actuality, he's had some good matches, sure, but he's never been the face or or what some would say Eddie Guerrero was in his prime.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Huh. What do you think, John?
See, I agree with one point that Victor made about Guerrero being better than Mysterio. I think that that is a given. Eddie Guerrero was a lot better in the ring than Rey Mysterio was. He was better on the mic. But the way I also look at it, the luchadors you have now, like people like Penta, people like Ray Phoenix, that type of thing, you do not have that division if you don't have Rey Mysterio and what Rey Mysterio has done for professional wrestling. If Rey Mysterio isn't involved in professional wrestling, those people aren't involved in professional wrestling, and it's as simple as that.
Oh, again, I agree with both of you. You guys both made fair points. As we end the hot takes portion, I have one scolding hot take. You guys ready for this one?
Here we go.
I believe Chris Benoit should be in the WWE Hall of Fame for his wrestling. What allegedly happened outside of that does not take away his accomplishments in the ring. What allegedly happened sucks, unfortunate, but you cannot take away his moments, his win at WrestleMania 20 against for the world title where he beat Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and Eddie Guerrero and him hugged in the ring as they were both holding world titles. You can't you can't just sit there and ignore that. Now I understand what allegedly happened, but again, it does not take away the wrestler Chris Benoit. And like I said, I believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. Victor,
I I 100% agree. Nothing that happened outside of wrestling should affect what happens in should affect a wrestler's career, especially when it's over and when it's cut short the way it was. They had no issues putting Eddie Guerrero in the Hall of Fame literally months after he had just passed away. Uh, the same should be said about Chris Benoit. At the end of the day, he was a damn good wrestler. He was one of the best technicians out there, and nothing he did outside of wrestling can change that. Whereas, and it comes to a similar situation with Owen Hart, who's literally been dead for like 20 years and still isn't in the Hall of Fame, all because of his things outside of wrestling stopping that from happening. People
Well,
with family not wanting him to be in the Wrestling Hall of Fame or stuff like that.
that one I understand a little bit more because his wife is pissed. Like I understand. Like your husband was killed, and they just went on like it wasn't shit. This was like, fuck it, work around it. But I agree with the Benoit portion. What about you, John? Oop, oh, and we lost John. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, no, I'm here. So the your hot take there about Benoit. I agree. Chris Benoit is the greatest technical wrestler that I have ever seen. I will be 100% honest. Nobody is on the level of Chris Benoit technically than what um, than what he was. When you heard that Our Lady Peace music hit, you know that something's about to go down, and you know that business is picking up because the Rabid Wolverine's on his way to the ring. Now, I agree Benoit should be 100% in the Hall of Fame. I do kind of understand why he's not, because WWE wants nothing to do with what he did outside of wrestling. But inside of wrestling, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. There is no question. And one last thing I will say on our hot takes side, Victor mentioned Owen Hart. This would be my last hot take. Owen Hart is a better wrestler and would have had a better career than Bret Hart.
Oh,
Now
I
you're starting to fight, John. Now you're
100%
trying to
agree.
start fights.
I 100% agree. I've been saying that for years. Thank you for saying it as well. Victor, do you disagree?
I do disagree. I think Bret Hart was better than Owen Hart, but then again, we don't know what kind of career Owen Hart would have had if he hadn't passed away the way he did.
No, but you gotta also remember, yeah.
No, go ahead.
See, you gotta remember though, the Owen Hart thing, Bret was being booked like a champion. Bret was being booked as the biggest draw in the world, and yet you have Owen having matches against Bret, beating Bret at WrestleMania even, and then like 2 hours later, you have Bret get booked to win the world title. You know, like they were overbooking Bret like crazy, and they weren't giving Owen any of the respect that he deserved.
I agree. But my only gripe with Owen was his his power drivers. The way he when he broke, I think it was Savio Vega's neck and Owen and Stone Cold Steve Austin with the sit down power drivers. I was like, that's just completely unsafe. But other than that, I've always thought Owen was a had way more charisma and was better talented in the ring than Brett. I agree
Yeah.
with that. All right, let's go ahead and as we wind down here, we got SummerSlam in the not so far future. I'm gonna give you guys 5 matches each to book for SummerSlam. That's not been confirmed, as in the Cody versus Cena. That's off the table, and Jade versus Tiffany. That's off the table. Anybody else, you can book each 5 matches each. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead, Victor.
Oscar versus Io Sky. Something something tells me at the end of the day, some way, somehow, they're gonna make that match happen. Oscar versus Io Sky. That's number one. Number two, Gunther versus Jay Uso. Jay Uso needs his rematch for that World Heavyweight title. and I see him getting it at SummerSlam. Let's see other matches that might be happening. We could see, I don't know, Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa yet again for that United States title. Let's see, fourth match, I'm gonna have to predict Rhea Ripley versus, I want to say, Roxanne Perez. Now that one would be interesting to see. And my last one, let's see, Becky Lynch versus Bayley, one-on-one, no ladder without failure in the match.
Okay, I can go next. Um, I got Dom versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental title. I have LA Knight versus Gunther for the world title. It's two. I have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. 4, I got CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. And 5, give me Stephanie Vaquer versus Rhea Ripley, number one contenders match for the women's world title. And what about you, John?
So I know we've kind of mentioned it already, but the way that things are going, I think it's going to be Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez against Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Vaquer for the tag titles. So I see Judgment Day retaining and then defending against Rhea and Stephanie at SummerSlam. I could see that match because you're trying to get the tag titles off of Judgment Day. I think that we're going to look and see Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu. I think that's coming again. I just think that feud isn't done yet. Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn, I think, is something that's going to come up. And maybe that's where you see Roman Reigns make his return, but I could see that match coming. I'd like to see Braun Breaker Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov. I'd love to see Dragunov get a return and show up against Breaker. And for the last match, oh god, Bianca Belair versus Naomi.
Okay.
As the last kind of prediction match, and kind of Bianca makes a comeback and goes after Naomi, and they kind of build off the storyline from there.
I could see if she's healthy enough, yeah, I could definitely see that. One last question as we go. If you could add one more member to Seth Rollins' faction, who would it be? I would add Ethan Page.
So you're adding Ethan Page to Seth's faction, are you?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with Seth faction as well, but I'm gonna add another big monster in there, and I'm gonna add Obafemi in with Seth faction, because then who's gonna stop that faction? Who's gonna stop them if they have Oba with Bronson and Braun?
Good luck. Good luck. What about you, Victor? Who would you add?
If I had to add one person to his satisfaction, it would have to be a guy who's been underutilized on the main roster, just waiting for an opportunity to shine. It would have to be Austin Theory for me. That guy is too talented not to be used.
I think they're trying to turn him face, though. Anyway, okay. That's
I
I
mean,
wouldn't mind Austin
he's too
Theory.
good of a heel.
He is a good heel. Okay, well, if that would be all, is there anything you guys would like to add to this episode? Nope.
Yes, I have one more thing to add.
Go ahead.
El Grande Americano is Chad Gable.
Okay,
End of
okay,
discussion,
okay,
period.
okay, okay, okay. We're now gonna end this episode with you laying blasphemous lies on Chad Gable. Clearly, we've proven that they're the different people. Chad
John
Gable's getting
agrees with
ready
me.
to.
I know he does.
Chad Gable had surgery on his shoulder. Okay, we clearly saw El Grande Americano nod to American Made. Clearly, two different people. I'm not understanding this thing here. Help, do you get it, John? Because I don't get it.
No, it's clearly El Grande Kaiser. That's exactly what it is now.
No, that Chad's injured.
I mean, it's always been two different people, but okay. I mean, I don't know where you got that Chad Gable is El Grande Americano. He can't be in two places at once. Anyway, now that
You
we
can
ended off with the
if
truth,
Chad gets.
we don't lie here, sir. Okay, we protect Chad Gable's name, our American hero. Victor, thank you for joining. John,
Not mine.
thank you as well. Um, get well soon, Gable, and yeah, we will talk to some of you later.